Hi, everybody. It's me, Jackie Clayton, with Recruiting Daily, and I have my guest with me, Katrina Collier, this morning, or afternoon, or lunch. As a friendly reminder, the topic today, we're going to talk about be human. Katrina's whole thing about being human, we've embraced it for a long time, but this is actually, it's a conversation. We just want to have real people share real ideas, but this is about you. So if you have questions, please feel free to put them down there in the question box and send out with the hashtag RDaily, and we'll make sure and get those questions answered by Katrina. And that being said, let's just jump into it, shall we?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How
Now,
exciting.
Katrina, again, a shout out to Twitter. Me and Katrina met on Twitter probably 3-4 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
Five.
when Twitter was happening.
Yeah, I think I had 300 followers.
Got on it.
It was a it was a long time ago. She's known as the
My dog's
Searchologist.
barking. My dogs that never bark are now barking. Of course.
They love my voice. They miss me. That being said, I know you, but for those who may not have heard of you or don't know you as well, why don't you kind of introduce yourself?
Okay, so I am Katrina Collier. I am a social recruiting trainer. My company is the Searchologist, but I would like to really reinforce the fact I am a recruiter. I think like a recruiter. I've done this for a very, very long time. I could walk straight back into a job tomorrow and be recruiting, and I can't teach it without doing it. So I think that's really important. There's lots of marketers out there in my space. I teach companies how to source on the internet, so that's how to find people, but more and more I teach recruiters how to get candidates to respond by being human, which in a way seems quite silly because we're human, but it just seems that we've all got a little bit lazy as we've hidden behind the technology. So that's why I'm on this be human rant all the time.
Well, it's funny
Sums it
how
up.
it shouldn't be a chat. It shouldn't be a chat. We have to teach people how to be humans.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're trying
Jackie,
to teach.
let me remind you, you are a human.
Thanks for the reminder.
I know, but it is daft, right?
Yeah, you
It's
know. Well, but you bring up a good point. I don't know if people know that some of us that we go out there and we train and we talk about branding and all these things, but we're really recruiters, and I think
yeah.
that's why this particular topic, even though we're both involved in technology, why it's so important. Well, let me ask you a question. So,
Okay. Uh-oh.
really, really, honestly and truly, why do you think people have such a hard time? Is it because we've started hiding behind the hashtag, or, why do you think it's such a challenge?
I think we've hidden behind technology. You know, we're always going to take the path of least resistance, right? The easy path, the lazy path, if you will. I mean, it started with email, didn't it? So when email appeared, I was working at agency when, email became so incredibly crazy, and that you could use the phone less than email. But then, of course, along comes LinkedIn and now Facebook and every other social media network. And it just created this ability to be lazy, to just run a quick search, send out a whole load of emails and hope that somebody responded that was right for the job. Or worse, people still using social media as an online job board. So it was that, but I think now more and more, because I do so much in the in-house space, there's a lot of pressure, like ridiculous numbers that a recruiter will have to work on. So 30 roles to work on, for example, and then again that just creates this laziness or this need to be cutting corners all the time. So I think it's technology we're hiding behind mostly.
But do you really think it's lazy? I mean, it takes work to do these searches and putting the Boolean together and actually finding the name. I mean, don't you think people are just trying to be efficient? That's another word. That's the corporate word for lazy is efficient.
Efficient, okay, so they're being efficient. See, I feel you'll get a better response if you don't send the bog standard template, for example. So I talk about those a lot because I hate all the spam, and hence I'm part of Alison Cruz's Fight Spam campaign as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of, it's very easy to write, hi Jackie, I came across your LinkedIn profile and you look like a great fit for this role. Can we have a chat? Oh, copy paste, fill in the gaps. Like I'm not going to respond to that, and I think most people aren't going to respond to that. So if you're a person that's in high demand, you're probably receiving exactly the same message from 20 recruiters every day because everyone's using similar templates. So I actually think that you need to make this bit of effort. But in a way, I mean, a bit like you were saying, you just had Dean on, there are tools that will map across the social networks that will allow me to find out something personal about you that I can put in that message that will get your attention.
Well, no,
So,
but let me ask you this. This is important because so we have, let's say we have this job and it's hard to find. You know that recruiting at the end of the day, I hate when people say that, but at some point we recognize the more people we reach out to, the more potential that we'll have. So what do you recommend for people who are like, I have a database or I have my candidate talent pool and there's 100 people in it. How do I reach them out in a more human way without sending the template?
Well, why should you need to message 100 people?
Oh, well, the universal me, you know. Some people...
I would be wanting to do a little bit more work to make sure I'm getting in touch with, sorry, I refuse to use reaching out to. Sorry.
All the code
anti-American thing going on. But I would be making sure that I found the correct people for the role. And that might mean delving in a little bit more. You know, if I'm in-house, I'm going to talk to the hiring manager more. If I'm on the other side, I'm going to talk to my client more, and I'm going to find out more about that role and actually make fewer approaches. Because also, don't forget, these guys are aware of, you know, so say you've got this one role and you hand it to an agency and 3 agencies are working on it and they're approaching 300 people, that does not make the company look good. You actually want somebody to make the extra effort to find out more about the role, what they're really looking for, and really delve in and find people that match that and get in touch with maybe 5 or 10 people, not just blanket 100 who probably aren't right for it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but no, yes, I would hope that everyone would make the effort. I appreciate it's time consuming, but you know, if you're getting a much higher response rate, mind you, to be fair, I'd much rather people use the telephone. I get shot down for saying that all the time. But why not find you, use the tools, quickly see what you're tweeting about, quickly read a blog or scan a blog or whatever and call you. I just read your blog about XYZ. I want to talk to you. What are you doing next?
Funny. You and I both have been doing this for a long time, and people say that they don't want to customize it, but they don't recognize that we used to have to meet people in person to get their paperwork so that they could start.
Yeah.
You can do it now in 30 seconds. It was like a 15-minute to 30-minute process. You had to meet at a coffee shop or something about that.
I mean, I think that the time isn't right. You've got to get the right people. You know, the people that are going to take the role or the people that are going to be suitable for that role. So I kind of think it's a crazy thing to think, but if I send 100 messages, I'll get it right. Well, no, you won't. You'll get the low-hanging fruit that can be bothered answering your non-personalized message. So is that the right person? But, you know, I mean, if you've seen my SourceCon presentation, actually, I have a copy of it because I just gave it again in the Czech Republic, which was so much fun. Yeah, no, it was a hoot. But I talk about, I am in the world of social media recruitment is what I teach. So you like social media, I'm an open book. You can find out so much stuff about me. But I never share a couple of things because I just don't think to, but they're things that would stop me working for you. So if you call me up, I've seen your profile, I've seen your tweet, whatever it is, you get my attention. Would you consider working at this company? They've got this amazing open plan office and they've got bean bags, and I'll be like, no. I want to be locked in a box. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to smell anything. I like, you know, it's you find out stuff like that, and it's quick to do that. So you could spend all of this time on the wrong person as well. So it's a balancing act. But that's why I think the phone's better.
I like, well, a lot of people like the phone. It does work, but you made me think of Mark Lundgren when he was on a couple of weeks ago. Mentioned how, you know, he does all of his video responses and video templates and some of those that are really good. Do you recommend, you know, we know the phone, but do you recommend any other tools like that? Like, what things are working to help you become more good?
What are you going to do? Are you going to click on Mark's face with the play button that says here's a 12-second video? Or are you going to sit there and go, oh my God, I've got to read that? You know, like some of the templates are really long as well. So who's got the time? I mean, you're pretty, and also, you know, I'm so fickle. You write, hey, Katrina, on a cold email to me, it's deleted. I don't even get to the second line. You don't put your email signature on it properly. I don't read it. Delete your spam. Like, I'm harsh. So I think video is definitely the way forward. And, you know, I'm like, why not use Messenger?
Messenger.
You know, people freak out at it. And it's like, if you have filled out your profile properly, you have you use your own profile, because people will only interact with people who've got friends on Facebook, for goodness sake. But, you know, lock it down, hide the stuff you don't want to show, but share stuff that makes you look professional, if you will. I love that term. I can't remember if it came from Alison or not. I love it, that professional. But, you know, so you look approachable, and then you can record the video on your phone first before you send it, and then upload it and send it. And it's like, hi, Jackie. Again, like, here's my voice. Here's my enthusiasm. Here's like 30 seconds. And they get a message request, which they won't ignore if you filled out your profile, put in your bio and all that kind of stuff. They can play it and listen to it all before they accept it.
Well, and not to sound silly, what do you, and, you know, I know a lot of people are looking at this and maybe they are hesitant on some of their profiles, but what do you think you need to include in order to make sure that it's personable enough to look like a human, but professional enough to know that people, you know, like, you're not going to, maybe you don't put your profile picture as your kid's birthday party, but what other...
I should remember what I put on mine. I'm using myself as an example, as you do. I'm now waiting very slowly for Facebook to open on my phone. I think I've done it a bit like I do on Twitter. It's a split of, you know, me as the professional and me as the, you know, my human being. Gosh, it's been really slow, sorry. So I've written social recruiting trainer and keynote speaker, and then I wrote Aussie Brit, in case you've been wondering about the accent, dog mad, often on a plane, and hashtag be human. And then I've got, actually, I have actually got a photo of me speaking. Often it's a photo of me and the dog.
Yeah.
But you can see my face, right? You can go, okay, I recognize Katrina. My profile picture currently is just, my banner is just the dog. So, but it's like, the most important thing is actually the next bit down, which you probably can't see there, which is, oops, I just hit my keyboard. I don't know how you can see it. There's this bit here. I don't think it's showing, which is your, like it says, my current role. So when they receive a message request, it will say, Katrina Collier, social recruiting trainer and keynote founder at the Searchologist. So it shows that very first bit. And then if they choose to accept it, I then know they've accepted it because the little ball thing with their face drops down the side. So it's like, it's free, you know, like, why not? But if you're not comfortable doing that, like Mark was saying, you know, use it's BombBomb he uses, isn't it, to send those videos? Right, yeah, which cracks me up, the name of it. I was going to say Boing Boing or something then.
BombBomb.
BombBomb. But, you know, I go back to when I worked an in-house role, and I had to hire these ClickView developers who, it was a new technology, they needed to work with billions of rows of data on these huge financial services projects, and they were highly, 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 highly sought after because it was new technology and hardly anyone had done it for that size. We were an unknown company, and I had to pull them in from all over Europe and also the US. But it was me on the phone, and it was my enthusiasm, my understanding of what the company was doing, and all that came across in my tone of voice and my knowledge. And so you can imagine if you're sending that video, they're immediately hearing your enthusiasm, not some template. Hi, Jackie, it's Katrina. Can I talk to you? Oh, you're probably busy. You're probably not looking for a job. You know, whereas if you come across with some enthusiasm, do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, anyway, I'm ranting.
No, I totally get it. I mean, it cracks me up because you're right. I think
I'm teaching old school crap, really. I'm just like, hey, this is what we did before email. We call people.
Well, and people don't, it's like people are so, I don't know if the word is shy, maybe hesitant, that they won't have their excitement show through, and they do say things that are just self-sabotaging and be like, I know you're not looking for a job. It's like when I get emails like that, you say, if they send you something that says, hey, Katrina, you're not going to answer it. If someone tells me what I already feel, I immediately go back into high school mode where I'm like, you don't know me. You do not know me. Don't act like you know who I am. And we make those assumptions, I think, as recruiters, because we do it all day. Maybe it's hard to fit, but you can come across as being completely negative. Yeah. And I think people can even read that. But if you're in a video, I think you'll be more conscious of yourself and the way you don't want to be Eeyore.
No. But also, I've never understood why anybody has any fear about ringing somebody about a job or a career opportunity. I don't get it. Having spent 5 years in agency cold calling HR, that is the worst thing in the entire world to do. So how can it possibly be bad to ring someone about a job? Like, hi, I've got this amazing opportunity. Can we speak? You know,
that aren't human on themselves. I mean,
yeah.
the be human process is not just with the recruiting. It has to be part of the culture of that. I do remember, you might too, a couple years, I'm sure you remember, it was about 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago now, there was this whole recruiting process where everyone was like looking at the conveyor belt where it was like filling in widgets, and they started implementing the process on like construction lines into recruiting. And I think that's when, you know, we started seeing technology at the same time, which broke down the process. But you should be, if you're not excited about your job that you're recruiting for, you probably aren't the one for it. Maybe you need a new job. I don't know.
Yeah, literally recruitment jobs, stars, and just see how many there are by, you know. But I think actually going back to, I mean, you're right, it is enthusiasm. But also going back to this stupid thing happened, and it was like, we used to go to work. This is for those of us who do remember life before social media. And we used to take ourselves to work. And ourself was whatever mischief we got up to on the weekend. It was what our kids were doing, whether they were ill or great or whatever, what our pets were doing. We took our stuff to work. And at work, we talked about everything, right? It wasn't, well, within reason, obviously, within HR guidelines. But just realizing what I just said. But we were ourselves, right? Something happened when the online world appeared that apparently we were meant to split ourselves in two. So we were meant to be really, really boring over here on LinkedIn because we're only supposed to talk about work. And then over here on Facebook, we were meant to only talk about personal. But of course, that is just all gone, you know, I'm trying not to swear. It's all gone out the window. There, that's better. As eventually people have realized, well, actually, we don't really just want to talk about work all day. LinkedIn has sort of become, you know, as boring as it is. So everyone's sort of flitted over to Facebook because it's okay to talk about work and politics and religion and all sorts of stuff on Facebook. No one shoots you down, but you cannot do the same and talk about anything personal over on LinkedIn without being shot down. So, but I think that could also go back to that corporate thing you were saying, where people feel very formal. And I think it's because somewhere along the line we're told to be formal, but we're not.
Right.
You've got to share your excitement for working at that company. You don't have to be as loud as I am when you do it, but you do need to sound like you're awake, I guess. Jump up and down a bit before you make the call, maybe. But the more you understand what you're recruiting for, and the more you understand the projects that they're working on, and, you know, maybe in some instances it shouldn't be you making the approach either. You know, if we go back to the age-old gross generalization that developers hate recruiters and vice versa, maybe you could get some of your developers to get in touch with other developers. You do the groundwork and find them, but set up the call with them, get them to share their enthusiasm, because they'll know what they're working on.
Right.
So it's that human-to-human connection.
As a friendly reminder to everybody, this is Recruiting Live with Katrina Collier, our searchologist, recruiting extraordinaire, speaker, trainer, and all-around great gal. And you can put your questions down there and also tweet them out with the hashtag #RDaily. We'll make sure and get those answered. Well, I wanted to get back and ask you, because it seems kind of ironic that we're going from this world where we are using social media to be, you know, more connected, yet we have to make the personal connection. So where's the line? Is there a line that you don't cross? I mean, we kind of talked about, we know what the industry norms are of duck sharing family photos on LinkedIn or whatever. That's just kind of standard. But what is too much, or what is not enough?
So too much to me is adding a complete stranger as a friend on Facebook. I don't understand why any recruiter in their right mind would need to do that. You just don't. That's not how you make the approach. Just because I find someone there doesn't mean I have to approach them there. But all the other sites, you know, you can follow and interact with people to your heart's content. Is there too much? I don't think that you should share anything that's illegal. I think you should watch out for any Trump, Brexit, Korea, anything else that's bad that's going on in the world, Egypt, comment, like, you know, there's so much going on. I think we do, from our own point of view, but our future careers point of view, do actually have to be a little bit careful what we're saying online. You know, there are plenty of comments that I've written out and then deleted. At least I've got it out of my system that I've gone,
Right.
don't post that. Because, you know, you don't know what will be screenshot. So I just think having a little bit of awareness of that. But other than that, no. Do I feel you should share your kid photos? I sort of feel for their privacy. So I love what Craig Fisher does. So his kids are 1, 2, and 3. He's never said their names. They know the photos are going out. They, you know, that's okay with them, but he never says their names. So they've got some privacy. But, you know, why not? That's actually personal choice. Obviously, you know, your kids are out there, but they love it. It's carpool karaoke. We have fun. But, you know, again, they've given permission. But, you know, I share so many photos of my dogs, and people come up to me and they go, I love your dogs. They almost say that before they start talking to me about anything. And they certainly talk to me about that before they start talking to me about anything work-related. So they have that connection or that conversation starter, which is that thing I teach the other way. Go find something that you can talk to them about that's human, not just work. Because most of us don't want to just talk about work.
I
boring, really.
Like I know I overshare. I mean,
yeah.
You know, if you knew me, you'd be amazed as to what I actually hold back. But
yeah. Well, I do know what you hold back. So we've had private conversations, and I'm the same. And everyone thinks I share everything, and there's a line.
No,
you know,
there is a line. I mean, I think if you wouldn't tell it to somebody in person, probably don't put it online. Or if you wouldn't tell your, you know, spiritual religious leader, if your mom would tell you that's a bad idea, you should probably listen to those types of things, because the candidate is going to read some of those things. You just don't want a situation like you were talking about Brexit and Trump and things like that.
Yeah.
This kind of brought me to another question. Do you think that recruiters are losing their ability to be biased based on getting them to research so much on social? Deep, right?
Yes and no. See, yes, of course, there are tools that they can use that apparently desensitize it that have all been programmed by human beings, so of course I'm a skeptic.
Coda has never done that. Not ever, not one time, I swear.
But what's so hilarious is mine went off as well. So I think the courier came, and then they've now gone out, so it's like really peaceful. There's been chaos going on behind me. It's been quite
That's right.
It's appropriate that on my show there would be barking, no? Oh God, I've forgotten the question. We were talking about.
It was so good. It was like, do you think that recruiters have lost their ability to be biased because of, we encourage recruiters to go onto social to share something to talk about, and then we find out somebody, you know, writes something about, you know, the politics and what's going on in Scotland with the lady in Scotland. Does that get in the way?
So in a way, I think from the moment that we start hiring, we're ruling people out. That's what we do. It's all about bias. You know, the person turns up at reception, they're rude to the receptionist, they're out. They turn up and they're wearing the wrong shoes, they're out. You know, they don't like their tie, they're out. Like, I mean, we're doing it constantly, right? The recruitment, it's fickle. It's a no process. Who can we reject? Yeah, and it sounds shocking. I mean, my absolutely gorgeous friend has just, Kelly Hartman's just got a new job. There were 200 candidates and over 70 hours of interviews. She didn't go for 70 hours, but that's how much the company did, and then they ended up picking her. So they rejected 199 people.
Wow.
So, and why did they hire her? Who knows? But they will have been biased through the entire process because it's a biased game. And, you know, we might want to have more diversity and bring in different people and all this kind of stuff, but it's really hard for us as human beings to stop. You know, basic NLP, it comes in, we run it through our filters and we plonk it over here. So, I mean, getting a little bit deep for a second, but, you know, I've been very open about my child abuse that I've beautifully survived and healed from. But other people would look at that, run it through their filters and go, oh, yeah, no, it wasn't really abuse. And that's this as well with the Me Too campaign, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but again, there's different people go, oh, well, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Oh, I would have an, you know, and it's, so there's bias in everything. We're human. We think and we have feelings, and it's our experiences of our life. Though, going back to the actual topic, I teach social media to find conversation starters. I don't teach it to rule people out.
Okay.
Yes, I do say, obviously, if you can see somebody snorting cocaine and they've put photos of that online, they're stupid and that you don't want them, right? But at the same time, I think, you know, if you are really passionate, like, you know, I've had spiritual conversations, so you know I'm quite spiritual. But you know what, if you then started working with me and didn't like that, you'd leave. So actually me showing that occasionally is cool. So it's like just, I guess, getting a balance.
This happened, and I mean, we're sharing and stuff, but you know, my grandfather recently passed, and I reached out to a company.
Like the coolest man.
He was brilliant, so smart, so handsome. 95 years old, full life. But I reached out to a software company just to check in and see how they're doing on their process, and they said, I saw the video of your grandfather, I'm sorry for your loss. And it took me back, because at first I was like, wait, who are you? You know, going through my Facebook. Yeah. But at the same time, it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that someone watched that.
Somebody watched it and was able to reach out and say things like that. I know when we were working for HRTX, which is our little program that we put on here at Recruiting Daily, I mailed a letter, and she said she couldn't come because she had surgery, and so I sent her a get well note. You know, it was a stamp, and she took a picture of it and put it on LinkedIn and said, "Oh my God, I got a card." And little things that we've lost within social media, email, and technology. We've lost the ability to actually write. They don't even teach cursive anymore.
But what both of those actually did was create a feeling and an emotion, and that's the thing that computers are never going to be able to do. So actually, while you're talking, I'm like thinking of this. So can I actually get it open while I'm talking to you? So somebody asked my address, and I thought they were sending me a copy of their book, which is lovely, even they do that, except for the fact I now have about 10 to read, and sorry to everyone I've meant to have read. But I got this unbelievable little card. It's only a printed card, so it's been spat out by a chatbot, but that's okay, we'll forgive it. But a little bird told us that your work bringing Disrupt HR to London this year was incredible, and you deserved a very special treat. And with love from the team. And honestly, I was crying, literally crying. I was so awed that somebody would do that for me doing something that I love anyway. But it's that emotion, it's that connection, the commenting about the video, the sending the thank you note, whatever it is. And this is this stuff. The line is when you kind of go, oh, I saw on Facebook that, you know, sometimes you just got to drop it in the conversation. So, you know, have you got kids? Knowing damn well they've got kids. You know, talking about the creche and or nursery, whatever you want to call it. You know, that, whereas I want to hear about the bring dog to work policy because I don't have the kids. So it's like if you already know stuff, you can tailor your conversation. You don't always have to make it so obvious. And even then, you're still going to create that connection.
And so, I think no template will do that.
Say that again?
No template. You can't have a template for that.
No. I don't think you can. And the thing is, I know there was a brilliant blog I found recently that showed, and they tested over about 8,000 messages, that you have to be hyper-personalized in messages to get a really good response. There's like half an ass effort isn't going to work. You've got to go over the top. But then also, I mean, again, in my SourceCon presentation, actually, I've used it quite a lot. There's a brilliant one from Google messaging somebody with a LinkedIn in-mail, which talks about like speaking like a pirate and all sorts of stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. I will find the tweet for you. It's actually the tweet that's so amazing. But they sent him an in-mail, and of course he didn't open it for 9 months or 10 months because it was on the wrong platform. So you need to get your platform right as well. So like, to me, it's a combination of things. Use the word you, like in advertising, like L'Oreal, it's always like, you're worth it, and all this kind of crap. We already knew we were worth it without L'Oreal, but anyway, that's just beside the point. We digress. But, you know, use the word you, like advertising do. You know, really, really go over the top. Throw something in they're not going to expect. Like you said, you know, they watched the video. That you didn't expect it to create a connection. And then use the correct platform. Yeah, be it the phone, be it in email, be it whatever. Send a video. You've got to, and then you'll get better success rate. So, yes, you do have to take the minutes to do that.
We are down to the last like minute or so. What?
Oh God! What?
I know.
I want to come back.
30 minutes. It's like and I'm sure we'll shut it down and talk for another hour. But what do you want people to say to take away?
Ask yourself, what would it take for you to respond to some of those emails you get? Like, literally, what would you look for? Would you Google somebody? Like, would you look them up and see whether they're worth talking to? I do that all the time. Would you change the wording? Like, what would it take? And also, what would it take for you to change jobs? So how secure are you in your role? And, you know, what fears would you have? I think there's more to it that no little machine is ever going to take over. That's my opinion.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
I don't even answer the phone anymore. When people call me, I instantly put their phone number in Facebook first. Don't tell, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you need to ring me on your cell or your mobile, or it goes straight to voicemail.
Yeah, understand.
We all filter. There's no issue. Like, I'll answer a cell or a mobile, but yeah, we all have our thing.
Yeah, we do.
You know, but then also, actually, and also one final thing: don't keep following up on the same platform and no passive aggressive. Oh my goodness. Like, people get really, you haven't replied to my message. Well, why should they? Sometimes it's like 4 or 5. Actually, I know Wendy McDougall from Firefish had 6 emails, and I'm thinking, why don't the guy just call her, or send a WhatsApp message, or send a video, or do something else? Send it snail mail. Obviously, email isn't working. Try something else if you really want that person's attention.
There is nothing that pisses me off more than I sent you an email 3 days ago and you didn't respond. When people don't respond, sometimes that's their answer.
Yeah.
If you have to try a different way.
I definitely think you have to follow up, because my favorite thing to do is flag an email for follow up, because I don't want it to show as read. I hate the numbers. And then I don't follow the flag up. So, yes, there's no issue with going back and saying, have you done that thing I do where it perhaps got buried? Have I got buried? I'm just bringing me back up above the fold, just in case you actually want to see this. If they don't respond to that, then try a different tack. But yeah, it might take 3 or 4 goes, but no passive aggressive.
That's right. I love it. Katrina, I appreciate you so much. And I'm just so glad that you've come back to Recruiting Live. I know it's been a while. And I don't want it to be that long again, because I love you like a sister.
I know, it should be like once a month.
I think once a month.
Everyone else can be like once a year, and I'm once a month because I'm special.
That's right. Once a month, the Daisy Casey Day.
Yeah, our own hashtag.
Right, Daisy Casey. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, we are recording this. And will you send me the link to your previous SourceCon? I hope it's the previous SourceCon. If it's the one coming up, if you have a link to the thing.
The video, no, I've got another one I'm about to embed on my website, so I'll send you that. It's pretty well the same. So okay. I actually got to do it again. I don't normally do them twice, but I did, so I was quite honored. So.
All right, I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for joining, and we'll catch you next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
I think I did it. Oh, I think I'm ending webinar. It takes me forever. Special.